morning.
Oh yeah. Well, hi.
Hi.
Here we are.
Hey, look,
Happy
it's
Tuesday.
different setup
A
today.
new set.
Yep,
We're kind
Linda,
of all.
Linda
I'm
and Sue.
It's Tuesday.
With a yarn bar.
Billings, Montana. There we
Billings,
are.
Yep. Okay.
We're in a new set because we're going to give you sort of an action demo today. But also, I think you should note how color coordinated this all is. I don't know.
Oh, I should have thought about
Like
that.
plumbing.
Our pants are color coordinated,
Yeah, but that was not on purpose. We didn't plan that really.
yeah, it
just
is
looks
pretty
this way.
kind of nice and soothing.
I know.
Colors.
And I need to thank Carrie for letting me borrow this beautiful sweater that you knit. This is my daughter's sweater.
Would you call that borrowing?
I took it. She does that to me. I do need to mail this to her. It's going to go in the mail tomorrow, I think.
It's pretty cute.
So,
it's pretty.
yeah.
I kind of want to hug you.
It's the Rumpled.
Yep.
Lily Kate France is the designer. It's in a Rowan Bloggers Edit book.
That's the only time you can look rumpled without looking
I know,
rumpled.
isn't it? It's a great pattern. It's really comfy and nice knitting, Carrie. And yeah, I know we've got a couple people knitting this for Bang It Out. Speaking of Bang It Out, we have to draw.
We have our drawing. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Today we have two drawings. We have a skein of beautiful chunky cashmere.
Wow,
And
chunky
I
cashmere.
know. And look, purple kind of. And then a fabulous rocket squared needle. If you haven't tried one of these.
All right.
It's
So,
a great way.
are we
You're
ready?
gonna be lucky.
All right.
Okay. Well, wait. You're not supposed to look.
I'm not looking.
Are you sure?
I can't see it.
Okay. Joy Ott.
Oh my God!
Joy.
She will love that. Okay.
Joy, that's
Oh,
for
okay.
you.
All
Okay,
right.
next one.
What else
For
are
the
we?
needle.
Oh, those are two
I'm gonna
separate
set
ones.
that right there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing that. Okay. Here you go. Is that
Heather Gatonde.
Yay, Heather. We
Sorry,
struggled
probably
with
like
pronouncing your name.
I just want to pronounce it my own way. So, but we love
Okay.
you. So
All right.
awesome for all of you guys.
Thanks, guys. Oh, tonight we do have our Zoom meeting, our Zoom knit night thing with Bang It Out. So if you guys want to join in, that's fun. The link's
Okay.
on our calendar.
I'll bring my
Put that on your
Bang It Out
calendar.
rug at
Yeah.
home and work on it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Tune
moved
in,
along.
zoom in. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of
knit,
people
knit.
have been working on it.
Okay.
So
Blocking. Why do we block?
Why do we
Do
block?
we have to block?
It's kind of here nor there, but certain things you do need to block, and some things you may not have to block. Sometimes garter stitch, maybe you don't really have to block, but things like lace,
Yes.
you definitely want to block.
You
and
have
this
to.
sweater and my sweater, I definitely wanted to block.
So this has not been blocked, actually.
Oh, it hasn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Carrie didn't block. I think the blocking for this would just even out stitches a little
It
bit.
might bloom the yarn even more.
Probably
a
bloom
little
the
bit.
yarn a little bit. So.
But this definitely,
Yeah.
I did block it, and it kind of did even out the stitches. And stitches, yarn gets softer. It just makes it, kind of brings it up a level.
It's a nice finishing touch.
Yeah, I mean, I recently, that Lopi sweater I knit for Jim many years ago, never blocked it.
Did you block it?
I blocked it recently, and it did soften up, and I was able to get a little bit more room right through here.
That's nice. Yeah, blocking can be...
It can solve a lot of problems.
It can solve a lot of problems. And it really is. I'm a big advocate for blocking everything. You know, I knit a hat.
I don't always block my hats too, but yeah. You do encourage that.
Yeah.
So
anyway. But yeah, garter stitch sweater, no need. Garter stitch
or
anything.
Scarves or because the stitches are already kind of evened out. Yeah. So
we've got
they lay flat.
Yeah, we've got a great tool for blocking.
We do. So there are, before those times when you do need blocking, Cocoa Knits has a great kit
set.
It comes with everything. It's these cool little jigsaw pieces that fit together.
So you can configure these in a big long way, like if you were blocking a long scarf.
Or you could do it in a kind of a triangle way for like a shawl.
Kerchief.
Yep. Or a big square for a sweater.
Big square for sweaters.
So there's a lot of these in here.
They have a nice grippy surface.
Yep. And this plastic is
formaldehyde free, and
so
she works with
it's
manufacturers
nothing like
to make
the
it
jigsaw puzzle things that a lot of people will get like at the toy store or whatever. That kind of plastic you don't want near your kids either.
So they put a lot of thought into their products, and that one is good. It also comes with a nice
this
gridded gingham
fabric.
cloth, which is 1 inch.
It's all inched out, yep. So you know exactly how to measure your pieces. So everything's even. That's the nice thing, too.
And it comes with T-pins, which are your other critical tool for blocking.
That's right.
We're just...
So just in case people don't know, what do you mean by blocking? What is that?
Well, blocking is when you want to shape your sweater. You know, like when you get your laundry directions, it says, you know, wash cold, dry flat, shape to dry. This is definitely the shaping. So it's, you're going to soak it in water, probably in a little tub, in a little sink with some soak or eucalyptus.
Wait, hang on.
What? I'm moving too fast, probably.
Well, I want to go back to what does it mean? Because
what does that mean?
So if you finish a sweater, a good pattern will have schematic, like a drawing with measurements. And so you're gonna look at that, and actually after you've soaked and you're physically blocking, laying it out on your boards or whatever. Sometimes you do it on a towel, but the boards and measurements are nice for sweaters and things like that you're going to wear. Pin it out. Look at your measurements. If this says, you know, it needs to be blocked to 10 inches, we need to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa, stretch. We knit this too tight. And then you have to pin. But, you know, wool is super forgiving, and it lets you do stuff like that for the most part. I mean, they all have a limit.
Right. Wool will block wonderfully.
And part of the process of knitting a garment, for example, is when you do your gauge swatch, it's a really good idea to actually block that too, so you can get a heads up on how it's going to work for you and how much, you know, what that fiber will feel like after it's actually blocked and dried. Anyway, so there's a lot to talk about with it.
Blocking is really just wetting it, and maybe pinning it to a certain size and letting it dry.
Yep.
And then what happens after that? Why do we have to? Because I don't want to block. If I'm a customer and I'm in and I don't want to block, and I tell you, I don't want to.
Well, we'll probably say you don't have to.
It's
No
your
one's going to
project.
force you to do it.
But why?
But it's going to improve the look of your piece. It's like brings it up a level from just that homemade to handmade. It just has a different...
It's that final finishing touch.
Yep.
Some people also take their things down to, here it's Wetzel's Dry Cleaners for blocking, but you can do this at home.
I have done that with blankets because it's kind of large depending on the size of your blanket. So.
If you were doing a project like a blanket that was a bunch of different squares, they need to be blocked to the same dimensions. So you would, you know, pin, square. You know, hand knitting, not everything's going to be like a machine and you know, perfectly square.
So this is a top-down sweater. So when you're blocking this, you're blocking the whole sweater. But there's a lot of times when you're piecing a sweater, you're creating everything in pieces. So you're creating a front, a separate back, a separate sleeves. And you want to do some light blocking on that. So maybe your edges get really crisp. So it's easier to sew it together.
For the seaming.
It's really hard to sew things together when the edges kind of curled off. So,
then anything that's lace, you know, after you knit it or crochet it and it's just crumpled up. Yeah, so blocking
the lace work
you have to do.
It's hard to see the lace
that
work.
out. Here's something that we're blocking a piece of lace here, and you know, you really to get the full effect of the stitch work.
Yeah, it's your hard work.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know lace is not always the easiest work. And so you want to show off everything that you've done. And a lot of times they have little edges. You know, they might have a fancy little edge like this little scarf over here. This is a crocheted scarf, but you'll find this kind of work in a lot of knitting too. You'll want to pin out all these little pieces, pin out your hard work. So, you know...
Yeah. And then after you've knit something and worn it, you know, reblocking it or cleaning it, you do that again. It's not usually as much work. the second time
I don't
around.
think you need to do it as
No.
often as you might launder, a cotton undershirt or whatever.
Oh, no, not with wool.
You probably, unless something really tragic happens and you spill something on
Or
it.
the baby
But
spits out.
really, yeah, that does happen. But, maybe even once a year, really. You don't, I've started to look at my stack of sweaters and
It's
I think
kind of
about,
fun.
blocking and cleaning all of those. But, once a year is really
But blocking, it's kind of a nice little therapeutic for me. You finish a sweater and then you block it. It's just another part of the process.
And I love it when we use these.
Oh, I know.
Because they smell so good.
What are they?
This is the Eucalyptus. This is a wool wash. This is 2. This one has lanolin. This one does not. No, I don't know why would you not. I mean...
Well, so this is, you can use this for any delicate, any
your
hand wash, your
unmentionable,
undies, your swimsuits. They're not usually made with wool. So, this one will cover everything, and that I use both interchangeably. But if you want to add some lanolin back into something, the Eucalyptus, the product we carry that will do that. Also, this has been used for horses and doggies.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the label. You don't want to see that, do you? But, and it's no rinse. So it's not like Woolite or your, Gain detergent or whatever that you have to rinse out. These, you don't have to rinse out.
You soak it, it's nice and bubbly, you drain the water, and you're done. You don't have to rinse.
And we have little bottles and big bottles. So.
And we have little sample sizes of this, too.
That's
you can get a little taster pack.
I will say this actual scent is my favorite.
Oh, I know,
it's the
that's
jasmine.
ours too. They have other scents
I love
too.
It.
Maybe when we expand, we'll have room for all
more,
these awesome scents. But right now we just choose our faves.
Yeah, in case anybody didn't remember from last week or didn't watch last week, we did make an announcement that we are moving downtown. So, any questions you can shoot in the comments or pop in the shop, and we'll be happy to answer any of those.
So,
all right,
this one we've got some demos now.
So this one has been soaked. And so when we do that...
At least 15 minutes.
So in a tub of water, lukewarm, with one of these for about that long. And then you let the water out. You kind of I push it kind of everything to the side. Let a little water out. Gently squeeze.
Roll it up in a towel.
I always say like a strudel. And then you do a little dance on
Squeeze
the
out
towel.
as much water. Oh, spray bottle's in the way. Okay. So we another time might demo that more fully, but today we're just kind of showing you the way to pin it out, block it to shape.
Okay, let's grab some pins.
This one really isn't going to need much in the way of pinning.
But we'll just do it just for demo.
A top-down sweater.
Do the, sometimes, so you don't want to block the ribbing too much. You don't want to stretch that out too much. So
unless your pattern says to.
Yeah, unless your pattern says.
The other day
but like right here, like I might even just put the pinning right above the ribbing.
So here, look, the stripies are a little askew. So, I look at that. I'm like, oh, there and there. I like to measure that up and make it the same. Make sure in this case the stripes aren't like wonky, because if it was truly, super wet, which this is damp, you'd be dealing with that a little bit. But here I want to shape the neckline a little bit.
Yeah, the back should always be...
This is the Flax Sweater that Karen knit for us, and she did some fun stripes, in case anyone's wondering about that.
Sometimes, with like this, this right here...
That's for that. We can show that.
Right. But also, I have used it actually. I've used wires like on this sweater. I did it on the sides because I wanted kind of a pretty nice straight. And I've done it on the sleeves. So
I have done that if I want to, like with my Carbeth. I used wires because that Carbeth sweater has an A-line, and I wanted that really nice sharp A-line.
Right, so they were matching.
It did stretch out my ribbing, but I used
wires on that.
But on that
sweater, I think that's okay.
Yeah, so don't, the ribbing is going to be... Now, the one I wore last week, that soundtrack top, I kind of after the fact looked at my schematic. I'm like, holy cow, this needs to be really blocked a lot wider than it was. I had to go in, after 2 minutes, and repin, and I had eked out about 3 or 4 inches on each side of that, and it was, I'm glad I did.
But then there's some days or some things where maybe it's too wide and you need to. Then I do the little. The little grease thing. To get it.
So then what do you do once it's pinned?
Just leave it.
Let's go away and watch TV.
Okay. If you want it to dry faster, if you live in a place that's really humid, you could put a fan, circulate some air. Here in Montana, the air is so dry that things dry really fast. So we don't usually have to worry about that.
And that is one thing, though, about when you're doing a top-down sweater. You really have 2 layers. And if it's an overlappy, but so it does take a little bit longer. So if you're blocking something that's really cabley, don't smush those cables down. In fact, someone said to block cabled items inside out. Right.
So that cable pattern stays a little bit more bouncy and textury.
And I also was reading that this type of tile, it's non-absorbent, so it's waterproof. So your pieces will actually dry faster on this surface than if you were just drying it on your rug.
Also heat resistant, a good feature for
because
when we're going to use our iron for steaming. Okay, so that's wet blocking. There's also a steam block and like a dry, like just with a spritz bottle in combo.
Yep, so, I've used them all.
Okay, so should we scooch this over a little bit?
Okay, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Okay.
Just here. Okay.
Okay, so here's a piece of lace. Ooh, this is already dry. Let's spritz it.
Let's spritz it.
Look at that waterproof surface. Very good. Is that good?
Well, do we need to put this through the edge here?
So is this if you're going to steam block something? This is you spray it first?
Spraying is definitely an option. You don't have to, though.
Hang on.
I don't do a lot of steam blocking, and I've always been so. Some people talk about a wet towel on top of it too, don't they?
Yep.
Okay.
I do that.
Okay, so you put a wet towel on, a wet tea towel, then you apply your steam.
So we didn't talk about.
And we want to pin it first.
These blocking wires.
Blocking wires are handy for lace.
Yep.
And some blocking wires are very flexible. So if you have a lace piece that has a lot of scallops or shaping, you can use those bendy wires and pins to
if
really
I had
be the boss.
2 more of these, I would put them through this edge too.
These little rainbow blockers are handy too if you have a lot of pinning.
On this. On these sides.
Okay, I'll work over here.
These are like lots of different pins here. Instead of.
They're quicker than individual
They definitely
pins.
are.
And they're fun rainbow colors. Look, that's so easy. You know,
that
I don't have these in my house.
I don't either. I'm thinking,
wow,
yeah,
that's
pretty
fun.
good.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. Okay, do we want to steam it?
Yeah.
Are these heat resistant?
Show people how close are you supposed to get?
I wouldn't say, I don't know. I've done it.
Is this working?
Yep.
Why is it not steaming?
Don't recommend doing that at home, but I know we all have.
So how close are you holding it there? I'm trying to.
It's just hovering over.
Okay.
And I think if you put a towel over this too, that would be good. All right. So, yeah, that.
Is that all you would need how long you would need to do it?
I don't know. I'm not good at steam blocking.
All right, so let's do a show on blocking.
Ooh, I can smell the wool, though. That's a nice woolly smell.
I would probably put a little towel over this, and then you could put that right on the towel.
Yeah, if you have a tea towel, you can actually press it.
I've done it. All right.
Oh, don't do this, people. Not recommended.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to cook the wool.
Yeah, but it's not acrylic. It's not going to melt.
It won't. Don't do that with your acrylics. Do not. Okay.
And also, acrylics don't really like to get blocked anyway.
They don't.
Because they don't like to get bossed around.
Wow, that is such a woolly smell.
Wool will like to be... Okay, let's do this other one.
Okay. So here's a beautiful little crochet, Erica Knight crochet scarf. That is so pretty. And then this is damp. Ashley soaked this. Do we want to give it a shot of steam or not?
Yes,
Why not?
I say give it a shot.
Heat resistant.
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot. This is heat resistant. These mats are from Cocoa Knits. And the grippiness is really a nice feature.
Yeah, so things
After
just
you
don't slide around.
knit or crochet, you could pin out those
Points.
those little points. This one had already been blocked, so they weren't very crumbly.
No.
But
And points can be a lot. Like I've knit a scarf that has just a little tiny picot edge, and that you would want to pin out. Might require a lot of T-pins, but it's good to be prepared.
See, that helps it. This is lovely. I don't remember who did this for us. Do you?
Nancy.
Oh, yeah. Nancy, wow. She's been knitting a ton lately.
I know. She's gotten like, what,
Yeah.
2 sweaters done and her rug
Do
done.
you find this therapeutic? I kind of do.
I love walking back in the room and checking on it.
You know what I don't love is blocking on the floor. It hurts my back.
Yeah.
I need a
don't.
really
I have a
big
table, and I do
table.
some vertical blocking sometimes because I have like a big easel at my house.
I think in our new space down in that basement, we might want to set up a blocking space for ourselves so that I don't have to block on my floor. It's all about me, guys. But I think, it could, yeah.
So this
That is really
So
pretty.
it's ready to go.
It's
ready
ready
to
to go.
dry.
Yeah, and then it would just sit there. Wow, lovely.
I know. It's like a little
It's a
a little mountain scene.
So another, if you didn't want to use steam and you don't want a wet block, you could pin a dry item.
Yes,
And
you
then-
could pin it dry and then
Oh, and
spray
spritz. Oh,
spray
yeah.
this, and you can saturate it. Like you can, and then maybe just. But that's a nice thing to do, I think, with the superwash
Yes.
wools because
They
superwash will
stretch.
tend to stretch, and so that way, if you can pin it out dry, get it to your right measurements and your schematics, and then spray it. And then just the same, let it dry. It really will make a difference. You will get a little stretch out of superwash. So sometimes in a sweater situation, you might want to think about not knitting it as long as they say. I know Marie Green talked about that in one of her.
And your
knit
superwash
alongs. Yep.
wools will handle a little time in the dryer too.
Yes, I have put them in the
Not a
dryer.
blocking disaster.
Yeah, I
once.
did have a blocking disaster once, and it started out here in this regular thing, and
You
then
were blocking for someone else.
I
You didn't know what the fiber was.
I did not know what the fiber was, and so I needed to do a little work, and I noticed that it was kind of wrinkly and things weren't quite as even. I'm like, I'm going to do her a favor, and I'm going to block it for her. And so I did all of the things that we talked about. I soaked it, I rolled it, and then it went down to my knees.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I think this was actually the first time that I encountered anything with the superwash wool. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I just like threw caution to the wind. I said, I'm screwed one way or the other, right? So I just threw it in the dryer and for
sprung
just
back to
maybe
life?
5 minutes, and it sprung back to it. It looked perfect.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the nice thing about that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks
right.
for
I'll
watching.
answer
right.
your blocking question.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Bye.
talk to you soon next week. Bye.